Welcome to Maths Simultaneous Equations. Today we will look at question 6 from the linear equation worksheet, which can also be found on this page. So, let's get going. So, solve the simultaneous equations. 3x plus 7y equals 26 and 4x plus 5y equals 13. So, let's get started.
So, in order to solve this equation, we must make a common number between these two equations. For example, 3x and 4x must be turned into the same number, or 7y and 5y must be turned into the same number. And since 3 and 4 are both factors of 12, and that is easier than having 7y and 5y, which are factors of 35, we're going to turn 3x and 4x into 12x. But also, this is key, you need to also multiply these numbers by the same number as it takes for 3 or 4 to be multiplied to 12. So let's get started. So, 3x plus 7y equals 26. So, in order for 3x to become 12x, we must multiply it by 4. So, 12x. But then we also need to multiply 7y by 4. And 7 times 4 is 28. And we're going to put the y there as well. Then that's going to equal 26 times 4, which equals 104.
Make sure to use your calculator if you don't know that.
Yes. Then, for the second equation, part of the simultaneous equation, we must do the exact same thing. But instead of multiplying everything by 4, we must multiply everything by 3, as my lovely assistant has done here. So, 4x will turn into 12x, and then we will add 5 times 3. So that's going to turn into 15y. And that's going to equal 13 times 3, which is 39. Now, you're probably wondering, now what do we do? This is really confusing me. But there's nothing to worry. Because now, in order to find what x and y equal, which is the objective of solving this simultaneous equation, we must now subtract 12x from 12x, which would leave 0x, meaning that we will be able to solve for y. So, in this case, 28y minus 15y equals 13y. And that's going to equal 104 minus 39, which equals 65.
That's correct.
So, 13y is 65. So now what we need to do is divide these two numbers by 13. So, when we do that, then we will get y, which equals...
Y will equal the special number 5.
It will equal 5. So there we go.
So now we know y is 5.
But now we need to figure out what x is. And this is possibly the most challenging part of solving simultaneous equations, because now we must incorporate the 5 that we have figured out into one of these equations. So in this case, we are going to do that with the very first equation, 3x plus 7y equals 26. And since we know that y is equal to 5, we know that the 7y is actually equal to 35, as 7 times 5 is 35. So now we know that if we do 3x plus 35, it's going to equal 26. So now we know that x is definitely going to be a negative number. So,
to figure it out, we'll just be writing it out here.
Yes, we will be. So, since 7y is equal to 35, and the whole equation is equal to 26, then we must figure out what 3x is equal to. So, one thing that we can do is we can do 35 minus 26, which equals 9. So that must mean that 3x is negative 9. Which means that if we divide these by 3, then we will find x, which will equal negative 3.
And just to make sure you've got the right solution, you have to check it with the other equation. And, you know, he'll just walk you through that.
So, we can do 4 times negative 3 plus 5 times 5. And that's going to equal 13.
So let's walk you through it.
So 4 times negative 3 is
Minus
negative 12. And then we're going to be adding 25. And when you add those two together, you will get the number 13. Therefore meaning that our solution of y equals 5 and x equals minus 3 is correct for this particular simultaneous equation. So, thank you for watching.
And thank you for watching the basic level. We'll be upgrading in the next video, and we'll see you back then again.